And so what's your association with Seattle? Pete Carroll went there, or you lived there?
So I grew up there from, born and raised.
Because you said something about living in Arizona too, in Glendale.
Yeah, I just went there for a couple
and then you said
summers
something
with
about Nevada as well. So
Nevada, my dad, that was where he moved around to.
Gotcha.
So grew up in Seattle, moved to LA, the fentanyl, yeah. And 2001 went to LA to go to college, and then I've just been out there since. So graduated in 2005, started stand-up in 2007, and then, but Pete went to Seattle, so that's why it was such a big, I mean, a lot of moment. SC people were bummed. They were like, he's slipping out the back door, fucking whatever. The timing was wild, but also he wanted a
perfect move by
him. You got to make those moves.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to say I don't think he knew what was going on, but I mean, he's a fucking rock star of a human. So whether he knew or was like, I don't want to know, but the opportunity was, the timing makes it look bad because he wanted that type of a situation as far as like, president and then like like where he could have a lot of say and control of the team. He wanted to go somewhere where he could really run the show. And so how about that? He could go 2 hours north and it was awesome, dude. I mean, right away. And, I went with Bert when he played Climate Pledge at Seattle Arena. He hit me up and was like, do you want to come do Seattle? We're going to go to the Seahawks camp the day before. And it was unreal, dude. And it's like we got to catch punts and talk to Pete. And this was about 3 months before he got fired because the season was halfway through. We were, I think, 6-2 or 5-1 to start that year. And then, it just went south and then that was a wrap. But I got to know John Schneider, the Seahawks GM that time. And he came to the show that night and we drank till 4 a.m. And then I got on a flight and went to do shows in Savannah, Georgia with my buddy Sal from the Jokers at like 6 a.m. and fucking leaving Schneider. And he was like, just crashing my house, man, which I have now done. Schneider and I are now fucking awesome boys. And Bert fucking put that together. I'm going to go speak to the team. I think it's Dr. Phil in December. And then, he just is a savvy fucking football guy and throws them back, dude.
That is awesome.
And so we toured the whole thing and Dr. Gino and DK and it was awesome, man. And it was all, Bert's generosity, but Pete was so cool, man. And it was just wild to see him so in his element, like dancing around practice. And then you're like, dude, and then just gone. Dude.
And then you realize he's 70. Like he's so old.
There's no signs of his age, but
because he's out there and rips it around too at practice.
Rips it around. I heard he was like he'd be in team meetings, like get the basketball hoop out in the basketball, like just have fun.
And that's what's interesting about like his coaching style was now Mike McDonald is such a like militant, like we have a job. Here's what you're doing. There's no, I mean, I guess he's still keeping things light because he got to, but none of this shit anymore. None of the basketball during meetings and it sucks because these guys that would like when Sherman started talking shit about Pete, they didn't pay him, they let him go, and it was like, fuck man, you got paid twice, maybe 3 times. They drafted you deep. They gave you full on opportunities like probably other organizations wouldn't have. But I don't know. I mean, it just something an approach like Pete that he had, I think, obviously was going to run its toll.
Yeah,
right. I mean, you tell me.
But also give the ball to Marshawn Lynch at the goal line.
Yeah, dude. Whoa.
Bro, it's wild that, dude, I think time does heal a little bit, but like that'll be the Sonics, again, you're not big basketball guys, but the Sonics in 94 were the best team in basketball and Jordan was retired at the time. And we were like number 1 seed in the West, and we were playing the 8 seed Denver Nuggets. And then it was when Mutombo, RIP, famously, they beat us basically in the first round. And he was holding the ball and like clinching it on the ground, screaming. And I fucking cried, dude, because basketball was my favorite sport at the time. When the Sonics left, it fucking, I forgot about it. But yeah, there it is right there. That picture, two over to that middle. Yeah, I mean, it was that picture, like we were just fucking like, because we were supposed to go to the NBA Finals. Jordan was gone and we had the best team. So Marshawn, dude, I went to the Super Bowl with little Brad Williams. He's a Broncos fan. Our teams were pretty hot at the start of the season. We were like, if we go, we got to go. So we scheduled shows out there, got tickets on StubHub, went, fucking, it was unbelievable. Like at one point, it was, I think, 22-0, I think at half. And Brad's like, dude, we're fine. We just got to get points. One score back into this. Percy runs it back. I have a picture of me. I'm not sure if I posted it, of me going like this because Brad's like fucking like looking out at the field, so sad. And I tried to take a picture of me going like with Brad being sad. And I texted it to him during the game because that was 29-0. And he goes, if a dwarf cries at the Super Bowl, everybody gets AIDS, right? And I was like, and it's just so funny. And then the next year I was like, all right, tickets are too expensive. They were wild. I think we ended up getting StubHub. They dropped to like $1,200, I think. And for the AZ game, it was like no ticket went below, I don't know, 6, 7,
Wow.
8.
Yeah.
Hotel, a Holiday Inn Express was like $2,000 a night. And so I went to Seattle, drove my dad up from Oregon where he was living, and my buddy's condo. We were in like the main, the common room, like, 2 floors up, and about 50 people, big ass party. We were like, dude, I want to be in Seattle because I want to party in the streets when we win the Super Bowl. I was pretty confident. You never know, but like, we just felt fucking good, dude. We're like, dude, we're
Legion and Boom.
Too.
Legion and Boom. And we were injured
Had a
as
squad.
fuck, dude. As I've got to know some Hawks, like, dude, Sherman in that game against the Packers how do you win that? Had, a dislocated, I think, elbow or hyperextended elbow. Cam Chancellor had fucked up knees. Earl Thomas had some rib shit. Jeremy Lane ends up breaking his arm after he picked Brady, like 2 plays later. So, like, we were depleted, dude.
Mhm.
And, but then we were up 10. And then you're like, fuck, dude. And then that catch by Curse, they do a cutaway to David Tyree against the Pats back in the day, which was like so, awesome because you're like, oh, cool. They're kind of being like, dude, the Pats just can't catch a break, man. Cool catch after cool catch. And I'm sitting there with my dad and, again, 50 people in there. We're having a fucking amazing time. Everyone's being like, I had to do this voiceover job the next morning, and I texted one of the producers. I was like, dude, is there any way we can push this session to 1 instead of 10? Because I'm going to be out of my mind tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be in the
Yeah.
streets of my fucking hometown
Yeah.
with my best buds and like wild, dude. And Marshawn runs the ball up and gets stopped. And on my stomach, I'm not even joking you, just fucking drops, dude. He gets stopped at the 1, and I was like, I go, oh. And my dad goes, what? I go, I don't know, man. I feel like we needed to get it on that one. He goes, what does that mean? And I go, I don't know, man. But fuck, dude. Because he was going, dude, and just tripped up, man. And it just was like one of those things where I didn't see that happening. But you know what I'm saying? Where you're just like, it felt like, fuck, we're continuing the opportunities for something to go wrong. And
Right.
And look, even if you give it to him, yeah, there it is, dude. I mean, tripped the fuck up.
Right there.
And whether you give it to him 3 times and you don't get it, a lot of people say, like, you live with that. And here's the thing, dude. That play they've done, that was the worst pass, dude. You throw that shit low, dude. What, right?
You throw that shit
If
low,
we're talking about yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to throw it high for sure. You saw the Thursday night game last night.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I mean, but that is, and again, getting to know some Hawks and what they've told me about it, they go, that ended it, dude. That broke the locker room, dude. It was, Doug Baldwin told me, he goes, if we won that, he goes, we were so tight. He goes, we were so tight, dude. And you had all these guys. I mean, they'd only paid a few guys. They had so many young D players on their rookie contracts, which is why we, that's what the luck of the draw, right? You get these groups where you're like, fuck, dude, we got beasts for a while for free. And Doug was like, dude, we were all like, oh, if we win this, we're running it back. We're winning 3. And he's like, there was no doubt in our mind. He's like, there's no doubt in our mind we were going to win the Denver one. No one picked us. And that first snap, goes over Peyton's head, and then everybody goes nuts. And it was like, and even I saw so much orange in New York City. And then when that snap went over Peyton's head in New York against Denver, the whole stadium went nuts. And we were like, oh shit, like Seattle traveled for this. But he said that broke the locker room. And it was like, nobody trusted Pete and Russ and everyone. Like, there was
over one play.
Yeah, dude, isn't that wild?
That's crazy. Yeah.
And they're just not doing your job. Like, everybody's like, dude, Marshawn, I think I saw him on some pod. He was like, you just want to be able to do your job and help the team. And I was like, and you didn't let me do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like that's what I was there for.
Literally 1 yard.
You can just tell part
And
of
he was-
Adam died.
A part of him died that
part of
day.
him
Yeah.
died.
Oh, is that? So, and just I guess, fill in the blanks on how sad that was. Because every Seattle sports fan has their own version of like, and like, now you can talk about it, whatever, but like without crying. I mean, I'll cry when I get off the bus for sure. But all 50 people that were in this room, bro, I had friends I hadn't seen in probably 8 years. Good friends. How good are they? I haven't seen them in 8 years, but we talk a lot and didn't even say goodbye. Just fucking everybody left. I'm not even joking. One of my best friends that set it up, I wasn't going to see him for another 4 or 5 months. No turning around like, dude, what the fuck? All right, I'll call you later. None of that.
Yeah.
Just he pieced out. I turned around at one point. He was just gone. And then I look over at my dad and he's like, was just like, he looked so, he was just like so much guilt. I was just like, you feeling bad for cheating on mom? He's like, no, the game. I was like, oh, shit, okay. But it was a similar type of like, I can't believe, I've never seen a grown man so bewildered. And I don't use that word too often. You know what I'm saying? Because he was just like, you couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And the split second, that's why sports are awesome. I don't get how people don't like sports.
Yeah.
But you got to take the good and the bad. And here's the thing. It's like, that was such a, I was in Seattle the next day in sports radio, and it was a dark, gloomy day, dude. And it was like sports radio. It was sad, dude. And like everywhere,
whispering over the radio.
Everywhere I went, like a coffee shop, a fucking brothel, a KFC Taco Bell combo glory hole, like everywhere I went, everyone was just like bumming, dude. Isn't that wild?
That's fucking crazy.
Sports.
That's sports.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is.
I mean, do you have an equivalent in any career?
I mean, we got destroyed in the Big Ten championship.
I knew
against
you were going to
Wisconsin.
bring that up.
I mean, we got destroyed. They hung over 70 on us. 3 different running backs ran for like 200 yards. It was like Melvin Gordon, James White, Monty Ball. That was our senior year. We had 7 fourth quarter comebacks that year. We were 10-2 going into that game. And Ohio State was banned that year for the tattoo stuff. I want to say Penn State, they were in trouble that year. They couldn't go. This was this was when it was happening. We played that week that the Sandusky stuff all came out. We went to Penn State and played. But Wisconsin was like the third team in that division. 70? And we beat them earlier in that season. They hung 70 on us, bro. And that was like, yeah, you were.
I was at that game.
Bro, that's like demoralizing.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we got killed. Look at that. 42 in the first half.
Yeah, you're getting beat
42-10 at halftime. It's like, what do you even say in the locker room?
I mean, that's not insurmountable, but it's. I mean, you guys tell me. I mean,
42-10. You know the game's over.
You asked what kind of memory takes you to a spot like that. Like I think of that game.
See, I only played football up until sophomore year of high school. I was offensive and defensive line, and so I got to play a few JV, but we suited up freshmen for a varsity game that they destroyed. So we went in at the end just to fucking get some reps. But definitely always got to suit up and go to the games and was on the sidelines for a game where they got blown out and it felt like people were that was not what anybody anticipated, but 70 is
we played Ohio State 2013, I believe it was, and I think the final score was like 42-43 or 42-41.
Fuck.
And we had the ball last, and our head coach Brady Hoke goes, "Hey, when we score, we're going for 2. We're ending this game." So we go down and we scored and we went for 2, and our quarterback threw it right to the defense, and it was over. Brutal.
What the fuck, dude?
I know. That was one of those straight back to the house, case of Ham's Light. Just pound them as fast as you possibly can.
Go.
A full Papa John's pizza.
Numb the pain. Yeah, eat emotionally. It's a horrible feeling.
Close the blinds.
Yeah, there was a big fist fight that game too. One Ohio State guy got ejected.
How close is the football locker room? On a whole, is it clicky like anything, or
it can get clicky. It just kind of depends on what kind of team you have.
It's
what kind of year you're having.
College has over 100 people on that football team. 100 players.
So there's no way you know everybody.
No, you know everyone, but it's there's definitely tiers, people. It's high school.
Quarterback, offensive line. I mean,
the offensive line always. The offensive line traditionally is the best group of guys to be around. They're the most humble. They hang out they're more down to earth cats. I think it's great to be around. But you do have these pockets everywhere, and you're just hoping for a Will Compton, a gatekeeper, to kind of bring everybody together. A Ben Jones, who is our center for the Titans.
Yeah,
he is those are the guys you want around, because then he just brings you from each click to each click and kind of brings the team together.
Let's go.
It's a nice little deal.
I'm going to the Titans game on Sunday. I'm pumped.
Yeah,
never been to the stadium.
How do you feel about it, Colts?
I mean, I haven't been following either. I mean, Flacco.
Underdogs by
Flacco
1.
live. That's kind of fun. That's like seeing
it.
Jordan on the Wizards.
He just threw for 350 and 3 touchdowns.
I know, but they lost, right, to the Jags.
But either way, it's Flacco's
they lost to the Giants?
out there dealing.
What's that?
They lost to the Giants?
No, they lost to the Jags. The Colts lost to the Jags. But Flacco, man, doesn't get enough credit.
Does
not.
Won the Super Bowl with the Ravens, right?
Yeah, with the Ravens. Speaking of Ravens, that's obviously Stavros.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, his clips on the Ravens every game.
Oh,
so he does a thing on Instagram. Every single win or loss, he does a whole video. He has a big Joe Flacco guy. He's so fucking funny. Have you seen these?
No.
Dude, you got to look it up. We don't obviously have volume, but he does these.
Oh yeah,
these hilarious videos.
I know he's a big sports guy. It's awesome.
Something about Joe Flacco.
See, another
something
thing
about Joe. I love that Lamar can run the ball, but something about a pocket passer.
Ravens just won in overtime, and Flacco had a good game, so he was still referring to like Joe Flacco threw for 350.
Yeah, because the Ravens and the Bengals last week went to overtime. Like
It was
Joe
a great
Burrow
game. I
threw for
remember,
5 touchdowns,
and still lost.
And at the end, Stavros is like murdering the Bengals. Who day? Oh, who day's 1-4? Yeah, they're just going off on them.
Ravens needed that W, by the way.
Cat's funny, dude. Super funny.
Another guy I got to know on the Fully Loaded Fest. You know, another reason why it's like, and he I think is going to do one of our Dr. Phil Live theater shows.
Yeah,
but
he's all
late night they had one of the. Were we at the Hall of Fame in Canton, I think, and where we were staying, the whole after party where the buses were had like. A pool and just all this, just a dope hang. Big, Bert just goes to the nines with like the post show hang, and then so Bert and Stavros and I are just in the pool, just smoking blunts and drinking and just like bullshitting and talking comedy and this and that. And at some point, Bert's like, "Who do you guys hate?" And then, but so that's where I got to know Stav, just like in the pool like that, and just but yeah, I didn't know he was a sports guy. That's awesome.